Today's video is titled, How the Supreme Court Could Break Everything We Love About the Internet, and I'm going to get into the facts and why. Please stay tuned all the way to the end. I have a lot of information to cover, and I'm going to try to do it quickly and briefly so that everyone gets it and understands why this is so important to me and should be important to you. What is the Gonzalez v. Google case all about? In November 2015, an American student who was studying in Paris was killed during an ISIS attack. Her name was Nohemi Gonzalez. She and a bunch of her friends were eating at a cafe when ISIS members attacked her and a crowd full of people. Over 100 people were killed during this attack. And after the attack occurred, the family of Nohemi Gonzalez decided to sue Google, accusing the tech giant of violating the Anti-Terrorism Act. The family of Nohemi Gonzalez alleges that Google provided material assistance to and aided and abetted ISIS. They claim that Google's website, YouTube, knowingly permitted ISIS to post on YouTube hundreds of radicalizing videos inciting violence and recruiting potential supporters to join ISIS forces. The court dismissed their lawsuit, but the family appealed. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit affirmed the lower court's position that Section 230 applied, and they denied the petitioner's appeal. The majority agreed that Section 230 prevented the Gonzalez family from suing Google. However, the court was not unanimous. Judge Ronald M. Gould, who reluctantly concurred, dissented in part and wrote his own opinion. He said, even if, under Section 230, Google should not be considered the publisher or speaker of propaganda messages posted by ISIS or its sympathizers, the YouTube platform nonetheless magnified and amplified those communications, joining them with similar messages in a way that contributed to the ISIS terrorist message beyond what would be done by considering them alone. The Gonzalez family claims that Google knew about ISIS's presence on YouTube and that they had the ability to remove their content but failed to do so. According to them, Google did not make substantial or sustained efforts to ensure that ISIS would not reestablish the accounts using new identifiers. But Google's opposition referenced a previous case, Zarin versus America Online, that says users post torrents of content on the internet to such a degree that it is impossible for service providers to screen all third-party content for illegal or tortious materials. The way this case has been presented to the media suggests that Google was complicit in this attack, that they somehow promoted and facilitated the recruitment of ISIS members through their platform. However, when you read through the case details, there is absolutely no evidence that Nohemi Gonzalez's attackers were recruited or used the YouTube platform to plan out the attack in Paris. There was no evidence that this was linked in any way. There was also no evidence that Google didn't remove ISIS content from their platform. In fact, Google presented quite a few details that demonstrated that they do actively remove ISIS propaganda from their platform. And you may be wondering why I'm taking Google's side on this case. And it is because I work in the tech industry and because I read through the details of the case. There was no reason for the Supreme Court to hear this case. There was no circuit split in the lower court. And there's in fact dozens of bills in Congress right now to reform and repeal Section 230. What I believe is that the Supreme Court is using a tragedy to rewrite law again through court decisions that should be done through Congress. And I'm not the only one who feels this way, although you don't read a lot about it. The tech industry seems to understand it like I do. In my blog post on this topic, which I've left in the description, there is a link to a story from Wired magazine that I encourage you to read. They said, and I agree, that Section 230 should not be decided by the Supreme Court. We should let Congress decide that. And Google said pretty much the same thing in their opposition. Algorithms have gotten a bad rap lately. Algorithms are what we love about the internet. Algorithms are why social media is so enjoyable or so addictive, depending on who you ask. And algorithms might be why you've discovered my YouTube channel today about algorithms in the Supreme Court. All of the technology companies are struggling with propaganda being posted on their platforms right now, from Russian propaganda to Trump propaganda to ISIS propaganda and health misinformation propaganda. All of these platforms are struggling with this, and that is because the people creating this content are getting smarter and more difficult to track. After reviewing the case, I can tell you that I believe that Google is actively removing this content, and they are developing new methods for catching this content quicker. This is a big problem for all technology companies. I hope you appreciate this video that I've made on Section 230. I tried to provide information that wasn't in other videos and a perspective from somebody who works in the tech industry. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to my thoughts. I hope to have a new video for you guys tomorrow, but I keep promising that and then life gets in my way. But I'm really working hard here on creating better quality content that doesn't bore you to death or talk about the same mundane stuff that libertarians like to talk about. So if you appreciate what I'm trying to do here, I appreciate you. I'm working hard on getting some better content up here and learning as I go. So thanks a ton for your support tuning in. Please hit the subscribe button and help me out. I'll have more stuff for you tomorrow in Liberty. Patty at Patty for Liberty.